Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the 2019 Auckland Rugby League Representative Weekend. We are live from Bert Henham Park in Otahuhu, where the rain is just starting to come down, as you will see on screen. A decent crowd building despite the conditions on the hill behind us, and that rain has been on and off all morning. A little bit of wind around as well, so certainly not ideal conditions for the spectators, but the action will not change. Nonetheless, we're bringing you first of all the curtain raiser at 12:45. The Auckland Vulcans 18s taking on the Tonga New Zealand 18s. That match is followed by the Auckland Premier team taking on Samoa Okalani at 2:30 p.m. That is the feature match today. Of course, this is the latest in our live stream calendar, which has included both Crown Lift Trucks Fox Championship and SAS Fox Memorial Premiership football in recent times. We'll also be bringing you a Farrelly Photos Women's Premiership match next weekend. We've got Richmond taking on Manurewa at Mountford Park, bringing you that one live and free via aucklandleague.co.nz. We've also got some SAS College Rugby League action coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. Once again, that will be delivered free via the Auckland Rugby League website. A big shout out to the Auckland Rugby League and Board of Directors for continuing to drive that initiative. And speaking of the SAS College Rugby League, we do have some results from last Wednesday's games, and a close one involving Mount Albert Grammar and Manurewa High School. 30-24, Mags get up for the win in that one. Had a couple of people out at that match, and by all accounts, Mags looking very impressive under coach Jason Williams. Pakatanga College well beaten by Westlake Boys. Southern Cross Campus got up 30-0 over Old Erie College, and Kelston Boys a big victory over Otahuhu College. St. Paul's, the perennial heavyweights, they have the bye in that one. And in the Senior A development grades, Auckland 7th Adventist 8, Sheridan Hillary 20, Linfield 12, Whangaparoa 42, James Cook 14, Southern Cross Campus 22, Rutherford 16, Western Springs 22. And in the girls grade, Sir Edmund Hillary got up for a big victory over Auckland 7th Day, 58-0 on that one. Papatoetoe High School 70-18 over Green Bay. And Old Erie College just sneaked past Auckland Girls Grammar 36 points to 34. So there we go, a little update from around the grounds. Of course, no club football on today in Auckland. We are all go for the Auckland Representative Weekend. It's now my pleasure to bring into the commentary box Auckland Rugby League CEO Greg Whaiapū. Well, Greg, the second year in a row we've held this representative weekend. Last year it involved Tonga in the main game. I guess talk me through the reasoning behind it and why you think it's so important to stage these games.
Yeah, afternoon, Corey. I guess the reasoning behind what we're trying to do is bring Auckland Rugby League to the forefront over Queen's Birthday weekend. Not only just to give everyone a bit of a break over this period, but to pick out the best players we've got available to us and put them up against some other teams. And in this instance today, it's Samoa, and last year was against Tonga. So I think it's a great initiative for us to promote our game, and given the rise of Pacifica Rugby League as well, I think it's a good time for us to recognise that there's a contribution that we all have to play for our game.
Of course, the Auckland representative jersey, such a famous jersey over the years, and no doubt you grew up watching Auckland teams. There was a real feel last year that there was a lot of pride in bringing that jersey back. We had Jethro Friend run out, of course, son of Clayton Friend. How important was it to roll the Auckland team out in the 110th year?
Yeah, I think it's a timely reminder for us that Auckland Rugby League has a part to play in the landscape of rugby league in Auckland, and bringing the Auckland team back is about re-establishing pride in the game and signalling to everyone that Auckland Rugby League and the past and the future history of the game is in good hands. And by bringing the Auckland teams back together again and having them play on a calendar such as Queen's Birthday, I think it's an important part for us and for the players to aspire to as well.
Now, in this first game, we're going to see a lot of young men who have come right through the Auckland Rugby League system, through the Auckland Vulcans, and also through the Region of Origin series. Obviously, great success for the Vulcans last year, the 15s winning the national title. Greg, how do you assess where that development pathway is right now with those teams?
Yeah, well, we're slowly building, and I guess part of the work that Andy Hay, our coaching development manager, and his team are trying to do One, to re-establish the rep program and the pathways for development for our players. Region of Origin is one series. We've also had opportunities now to send teams down to Waikato and up to Northland to play in the Auckland colours. So again, it's just about adding another tier of development for our Auckland players to get some experience and again to show that there's an opportunity for them in the rep colours.
All right, Greg, we're going to just pause there for a minute. We're going to have a couple of public announcements, and then we're going to come back with Greg Whaipu as we build towards kickoff.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bird Henham Park, home of the Otahuhu Rovers Rugby League Football Club, for today's double-headed brought to you by the Auckland Rugby League. Our first up game at 12:45 is Auckland Vulcans U18 taking on Tonga. We do have a few public service announcements for your health and safety for the public, so if you just take a few moments to listen, please. Public toilets are situated in the changing room blocks. We are a smoke-free facility today, so we ask that you respect that. The Otahuhu Club does have their tuck shop open, which is situated underneath the balcony of the club rooms, to your left or to your right, depending where you are. And please use all rubbish bins that are around and don't leave any litter around. And all the best to both teams, and please enjoy the day.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. A short break there to hear some very important public service announcements. And as I mentioned, despite the rain, a decent crowd building down here at Bert Henham Park ahead of the curtain raise of the Auckland Vulcans 18s up against the Tonga New Zealand 18s. Back with Auckland Rugby League CEO Greg Whaipu, and a big weekend. Greg, not only do we have the representative weekend on, but the Maris Saints celebrate 100 years. I understand you're heading out there later on tonight. A big weekend planned, I think, for the Saints.
Yeah, a big weekend for the Saints and also for Point Chev as well. They're celebrating 100 years also. So rugby league in Auckland has been around for a long time, and to have two clubs celebrating on the same weekend their 100 years is a milestone for all of us. And I think I wish Tony Lehman and Carl Gribble and John Wettereff from Point Chev and Tony from Maris all the best for the weekend and the celebrations they'll be having at their clubs. I think today the old boys play out at Point Chev, so there's quite a bit going on. And if you check out the websites of the club websites, you'll be able to see what else is happening tomorrow and Monday maybe.
Now, we're taking a break from Premiership footy this weekend, obviously, but a timely chance to get your thoughts, Greg, on the new system. I know from my point of view, having called a number of the games, it's been a real positive. There's been really competitive games played across the board. What do you make of the new Fox Championship and Fox Premiership system so far?
I think the way it's going at the moment, there's some real excitement, especially in the Fox qualifying group, and also in the Fox Premiership as well. And I think the results over the next 2 weeks are going to tell who's going to be up in the Fox and who's going to be in the Fox Championship as well. So I think everyone is on tenterhooks at the moment because there's not much separating these teams as we go into the last couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about what football will be played over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're quite right to point out how close that battle is for promotion in that second tier right now, and there is only about, I think, 4 points separating first and fourth, and then a couple of teams tied on points at the cutoff there. So a reminder that the top four will go up into the Fox Championship proper. They'll be joined by the bottom four from the Fox Premiership. Right now it's Manurewa at the bottom in that one. Richmond, Papakura, Bay Roskill in the mix as well, all fighting for safety along with Mangere East. All right, we're going to let Greg go and get his seat to enjoy the match. So we thank Greg very much for joining us and being down here today. And he's down here, will be on hand to present the Man Cup, which we will be presenting in the curtain raiser today. It was used in the main game last weekend. It's a cup dedicated to the Mann family and their wonderful service to both Tongan Rugby League and Auckland Rugby League over the years. So great to be able to represent that family. Of course, Don Mann and more recent times likes of Dwayne Mann, who have given so much to competitions at grassroots level. Okay, not long until kickoff now, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll run you through the team list soon as we sort of build towards kickoff here. There'll be some national anthems and a little bit of festivity before the match. So we'll take a very short break before we get back to the action here at Bert Henham Park.
And we're just about to get underway to the first game. We're just waiting for the teams now to come out. They will come onto the field, and before the commencement of the game, the national anthems of both Tonga and New Zealand will be sung.
So I got confirmation, Tonga's this side, Auckland that side.
Kia ora, and whakalukalahi atu everyone. Your Tongan under-18s team is as follows. Number 1, Soakai Taufa. Number 2, Damian Mapapalangi. Number 3, Daniela Otukolo. Number 4, Nani Graham Taufa. Number 5, Musi Peppa Mafi. Number 6, Moala Graham Taufa. Number 7, Tonga Nau. Number 8, Xavier Payne. Number 9, Vakasi Kahele. Number 10, Fiao Tongia. Number 11, Ricky Saulala. Number 12, Nafahu White. Number 13, Elam Payne. Number 14,
So here they come out, ladies and gentlemen. You hear in the background the ground announcer announcing the teams, and we will run you through those team lists on our screen once that stops as well. But obviously the Tongan side in the red and the Vulcans 18s in the blue as they make their way out onto the field just as the rain stops. So a little reprieve from the weather. And as I mentioned, we're going to have the national anthems before the match as well. So we'll run you through the team list after all of the pre-match festivities. And the man taking centre stage for the anthem, none other than Lapi Mariner, the man responsible for that famous Vodafone Warriors song, It's Just a Matter of Faith. And we've rolled out the big guns for today's anthem. Lapi, of course, a loyal Maris man himself. And son Dean playing great football as well. He represented the Vulcans a couple of weeks ago at Mount Smart Stadium. So we're going to take a little break now as we go through the national anthems of New Zealand and Tonga.
I will announce the rest of the team once the national anthem has been sung.
E o tua mawhima, whiko mau e ki koe, ko e whalalaanga, mo e ofa ki Tonga. A whio hifo he maulo, to aia o kumau, whaini mo ke tali, o mauloto, o malu i atupo. O na iwi matara, a ta whakarongo na me aroha noa. Kia hua ko te pai, kia tauto a ta whai. Mana ki te amai, a
nations at thy feet. In the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God's Pacific triple stars from the shafts of strife and war. Make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand.
So there we have it, a brilliant rendition of the national anthems from Lapi Mariner. As we see the Tongan team on screen there, and we'll run you through some of those names soon. A number of guys who have come through the Auckland Vulcans system as well over the last couple of years. This will be a good match. These young fellas will be primed for this one. Of course, these days, many opportunities to represent both country and region. And for a number of these boys, they're used to these big games. I don't think it will scare too many of them. And they'll be pumped, ready to go. Our middle referee today is Joseph Green, one of the best we've got around in terms of young referees. Has had some good opportunities on the international stage in recent times. He'll be assisted by Matthew Granis and Zane Richardson on the sides. A shout out to the Auckland Rugby League referees who do such a great job, and no weekend off for them. Again, on hand to officiate this one. All right, we're going to bring up the team list now and run you through some of the feature points for these two teams, and there are just a couple of changes from those advertised on your screen. We'll start with the Auckland Vulcans, and it's going to be Tanielu who will wear the 15 rather than the 2 that he is named in. Watch for Manasi Whakaosalia out of dummy half, a sharp operator we've seen in action for Otahu College, and of course the Leopards here as well. A couple of boys who have experience at Premier level. Braden Winks has been playing for Te Aratu in the Crown Lift Trucks Fox Championship, and Zion Tanielu, who has been playing Fox for Bay Roskill. So 2 fairly handy customers to have in your team. As we see on screen there, the Tongans get into the huddle there and the flag gets laid down, and we'll bring those team lists back up again in a moment once we go through the pre-match prayer. So there we have it. The pre-match festivities conclude A brilliant
We off?
build up from the Tongan side here, and we're just about all ready to go. We'll bring up the team lists again and highlight some of the players to watch
Off now.
in this Tonga New Zealand team.
Okay, who's ball,
And
boys?
the main ones for me, watch out for the Graham Tolfers ×2. Lani in the centres, Moala in the halves, 2 New Zealand residents players in their age group, both Roosters development players. They are dangerous in attack and certainly ones to watch out for. The captain, Naufahu White as well, who played for the Vulcans last year. He'll be one to watch on the edge. So we're all ready to go. The Auckland side coached by Bevan Thomas and the Tongan side coached by Dan Keeper. And it will be the Tongans to have first use of the ball. So Bui Tipilolo to get us underway for the Vulcans. Another of the players who plays up at Premier level for his club at Waitemata. So referee Joseph Green checks to the sideline. We're all ready to go. Here we go. The representative weekend is underway at Bert Henham Park. And it is the Tonga New Zealand 18s with first use of the ball. And they take it straight back into the heart. And Julius Fafaeli involved in the tackle that time. Mentioned earlier, a number of these guys have come through the Vulcans system. A number took the field for the Vulcans 17s at the national tournament last year as that team fell one game short of a grand final appearance. And it looks like we've got our first error in the lead up here, which means we're going to have a turnover ball and Vulcans in possession. So Tipololo to feed the scrum, and it's set right on 20 metres out, and they'll come down the left side straight away. This is through the halfback, Stephen Steele. Whakosalia heads back towards the middle of the park, looks to get that offload away and does so, and Whakosalia on hand. So hot potato stuff early on here from the Vulcans, who now work forward towards the centre of the park. Arkeong is taken down. Whakosalia at dummy half. Hands out to his right. Links up with the lock forward, but met head on that time as Uelu. They're 5 metres short from the line now, Vulcans. A great chance to register early points following that Tongan era. They will head down to the right side now. Stevens Teal brings in the fullback. Little bit of footwork, but the Tongans are up to it. They scramble across nicely and will go close to putting them over the sideline. The ball's come loose. And I think strip's going to be the call. My apologies if we're not picking up the referee's audio, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do our best to identify these calls, but this will be Vulcans remaining in possession, and they'll kick that back and go back a few metres in order to set up a set play here. 2 minutes gone, and the Tongans got through a couple of hit-ups before it was handover ball, and the Vulcans now right on the attack. My pleasure now to bring into the commentary Troy Hardy, who's been out there working hard, organising the pre-match anthems. And Troy, that was a spine-tingling pre-match dance from the Tongans, and the national anthem's done beautifully by Luppy Mariner as well.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And, the boys are full of passion for today, so looking forward to an amazing clash here of football down here at Bert Henman. Now, looks like we've got our first injury, mate.
And this looks like a shoulder. So I believe this is the 10, Stephen Uelu. We'll wait to confirm that, but so not good signs early on as the injured player makes his way off screen in the background. So a bit of a pause in the action here. So an early interchange. This is going to give an early boarding pass to Braden Winks straight onto the field. So into it we go. The Vulcans, they bump it forward via Fafaeli, the Mount Albert man. They're 5 short of the line here. They come back towards the middle of the park, and Winks gets his first touch of the ball. Whakosalia plays in his lock, then they go back door. A little bit of dancing, a little bit of footwork, and eventually Boy Tepulolo is taken down. Another with experience in this Vulcan squad. Previously, Whakaosalia goes short. Brings in the 13. This is Trey Lolasil. He's taken down about 2 meters short of the line. Great stand from the Tongans so far, and now we're going to be called back. I think they've found a knock-on in the build-up there, and all of that possession. The Vulcans leave without points. A frustrating one early on for this Vulcans team, but Troy, you have to give real credit to the Tongan defensive line there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think showed a little bit of pride there, early start, so everyone will be trying to get the rust out as quick smart as Tonga now feeds the scrum. And here they are now starting to grind it out inside their 10.
So a knock-on on their first set. They're yet to complete one, and we'll be looking to just settle a little bit here, or just as I say that, there's a infringement there, but it's going to be called against the Vulcans. So Tongans kick for touch. This will go out about 25 off their own line.
Good strong carry. The umbrellas are out, Corey.
5 short of halfway. Tongans work it up now, and good gang tackle, although they still get the second phase away, and on the end of it is Sikaheli, who looks up and chews off a few extra meters. 45 out from the line now. They'll work it forward via Tongia. Bringing the lock forward. This is Elam Payne. He's taken the ground. Making their way downfield all right so far are the Tongan side. And there's a good, solid defense. Now, was there a knock-on in there? The ball's come loose. Play on the call from referee Green. The Tongans will swing it out to the left and kick across the body, which is fielded safely by the Vulcans, who look up and see a sea of red right there to meet them. So a fairly solid start from both teams, both enjoying some good ball possession so far. The Vulcans with the lion's share through the first 5 or so minutes, but they are already a player down. They will play the rest of the match with 16, you will think, following the loss of one of the players to a shoulder injury. Now wrestling forward for the Vulcans. This is the 8, Asiata. Whakaosalia goes out the back now, finds his half. Stevens Teal kicks long, finds space between winger and fullback. That's a really good kick, and they need a good chase as well. They've got that. Good stuff from the Vulcans, and as a result, they will trap him 15 metres out from his line. Bevan Thomas will be happy with what he sees early on. Tongan outside backs now getting involved. This is Taniela Otukolo, the Otahu Leopard, playing here on home turf. Fiel Tongia, doesn't this guy look like a specimen? A couple of nice carries already. Back through the middle now, and it's Elam Payne with another carry. Plays for both the Marist Saints and Calston as they get a little bit of second phase going, and now the Tongans are going to try out their luck on the right edge. Wrestled the ground though as Otukolo, looking for a gap in this Vulcans defensive line, which has only been tested a couple of times so far. Winks comes in to finish that one down. That'll be last tackle and handover. But Troy, some big bodies in this Tongan team, and they're making their way downfield fairly easily so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting to see them shift to the right side there for the first time today. So wondering if that's going to be a little bit of a strategy as we see the game play out. And we've just seen a fumble there.
So ball comes loose, and there is your second knock-on from the Vulcans team. And the rain really pelting down now here at Bert Henham Park. So expect that will not be the last knock-on we see today. And it's really the type of weather where you just tuck it under the arm. So as we wait for the scrum to pack down, it's 0-0, 8 minutes gone here in the curtain raiser of the Auckland representative round. We've got the Man Cup on the line in this match. They come out to the left now, and Otukolo, who has been heavily involved early, he comes out to the left side looking for work this time. You see that rain on screen. Get a real picture of just how horrible it is down here at Bert Henham Park right now. Jumping out of dummy half, gets the offload away as well. Nice bit of second phase there from the Tongans. It was nice work from Vaka Sikaheli. Sikaheli now again as the dummy half. Goes back to the middle of the park, bumping forward. Another good carry from Tongia. Right up against the line now, the Vulcans. A real test for them here. The swings out the back. This is Nau, who links up with his fullback, Taufa, who then goes to Otokolo. Otokolo isolates his winger, and it just falls apart on the last pass. They had the space there. The execution just a little bit off that time, but Troy, you were quite right to mention it before. The right side appearing the favoured side so far for the Tongans.
Yeah, the big number 3 for Tonga is looking like a bit of a strike weapon there, and he's testing his luck. And if that ball had gone to hand, a little Vulcan hand in there, just managed to tip it out, and we see the scrum going down. So an obvious chance here to get another set of 6.
Yep, so it will be a Tongan ball, ruled to have come off a Vulcan last. So now we'll feed the scrum. It's messy as anything. Spills out the back, and on hand to clean it up is Moala Graham Taufa, the super talented youngster, product of the Mount Albert Grammar System and the Marist Saints. They go to the left and bring in Kepu. Vulcans doing well to get there in numbers right now. Look at that rain on screen. Coming infield now, looking to test out the middle of the park for the Vulcans. This is Naufahu White, the former Vulcan himself. They're only 2 short of the line here. Right up against it. It goes out the back. It's to Payne, who then goes short again. The Vulcans, though, brilliant commitment on their line. Excellent stuff from the Aucklanders, and as a result, they earn the turnover. And you have to wonder, probably taking a fair bit of confidence out of this, Troy. That's a number of sets now against their own line.
Yeah, doing really well. Having to get ready to sort of feed the scrum, so they'll be looking to have a little bit of patience here and, get some time on the ball.
So Boy Tipululu to feed the scrum, which will be packed down about smack on 10 out from the line, and need a completion here. The Vulcans just give themselves a little break from the defensive work they've been doing over the last 5 minutes. 0-0, and it's 10.5 minutes gone here. Now the wingers coming in looking for some work. This is Zion Tanielu, the Bayroscal Vikings man. We've seen him in action for the Fox Premiership side in our live stream game against Kenora a couple of weeks ago, and dishing out the punishment. That time is Fiel Tongia and forces the mistake.
Yeah, he felt that one. Big body contact there, Corey.
We've got a Vulcan down as well. We'll try and catch the number there. It's the last thing they need, having already lost one earlier. And it looks like it's the 4, Tristan Tuolangi, so we're going to have time off here. A couple of Vulcans shaking their head and looking the directions of the Tongans. Troy, I saw nothing untoward. Not sure if you caught anything there. Just looked like a big shot to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's felt it nonetheless, though, Tuolangi. And as a result, now on the ground getting some medical attention. The Tongans taking this opportunity to have a chat and organise what they are doing, and the wind as well, a real factor down here. You won't be picking that up so much on the television screens, but it is gusty down here, as well as that rain, which is really just driving it down into the direction the wind is blowing. So certainly a nice day to be cooped up in the commentary box.
To speak for yourself. The probably a little lack of rhythm there from the play the ball area, because it sort of just held up, and there was a wee bit of a secondary type pass, and by the time he came onto it, the defender was on top of him, and just, boom, as soon as he caught the ball, he hit him on impact. So good to see number 10 go over there and sort of give him a tap. He's back up. Maybe he was just a little bit winded as they get ready to reset now.
So the scrum to pack down. This will be a Tongan ball. And Graham Tolfa to feed. They're set heavy to the right here are the Tongans. Graham Tolfa just having a little look over his shoulder. They're going to go that way out towards the open side. And this is Tolfa now taking the line. Breaks out of 1, breaks out of 2. Hanging on for dear life is the man who was down injured just a minute ago, Tuolangi. A brave effort from him, straight back up to the feet. Now back towards the middle of the park. And here is this man, Tongia. Ball comes loose, so they get one back on him. Having forced the error just a moment ago, this time it's Tongia who comes up with it. And the conditions, well, really making their mark on this match. It's going to be one of those games where completion rates aren't going to be the highest. It's going to be the team who can hold on to the ball, the crucial parts of the field, you feel, that will get up in this one. And speaking of that, the Vulcans now really need a completion here just to get out of this end. They have done a whole lot of defensive work in the last 7 or so minutes. They come up to this right edge now, and the Tongans get there in numbers. Ball spills loose, but held was called earlier. And it's going to be a handover here. So again, Auckland guilty of an error early in the tackle count. So the scrum packs down. Tonga again set heavy out to the right. Watch for Tolfa to chime into the back line once again. And they will go just that way. Tolfa. Lani this time. Wrestled to ground and involved in the taku. Kuresa. Sekaheli hands off and finds his middleman, Kepu. Sekaheli now at dummy half. They're going to go out to this left edge now. So much possession so far, the Tongans. No points to show for it as yet. White has taken the ground. Right up against the line once again here, the Vulcans. Now to Tolfa. Tolfa, they're looking down this right edge again. Otokolo gets the offload away. The Vulcans scramble across and get there in numbers. And now they're going to try and get him to that sideline. He'll remain in the field of play, but great scramble from the Vulcans. Tolfa is the dummy half. They're going to head back to the middle of the park now, and Otokolo takes some contact and is taken down about 10 out from the line, almost smack bam in the middle of the park. Now, kicks high. Tester on here at the back. Vulcans under it. It's loose. It's picked up by Tonga. They should have their first try here, the Tongans. And I think it's Elam Payne who dives on the footy. Referee Green says it's all good, and the Tongans are on the board.
We wait for the ARL action replay. Half, nice weight on the dink over the top here. Putting everybody under pressure. And the ball is spilled. Thank you very much. We'll take that, said Tonga, and try time.
It's one of those days where any ball that goes up into the air, it's going to be a 50-50, and that time the Vulcans couldn't handle it, and it is Elam Payne, the man on hand to score. So Damien Mapapalangi to attempt this conversion from about 10 metres in from touch. He's taken it back a fair way as well. So 15 minutes gone. It is the Tonga NZ under-18s who have given themselves the initial lead in this one. Mapapalangi steps in, strikes it, looks okay off the boot, and sneaks just away to the right, so the score remains Tonga NZ 18s 4, Auckland Vulcans 18s 0, 15 and a half minutes gone, and Troy, you'd have to say a deserved result in the end for the Tongans there. They had a whole lot of possession and eventually got over the line.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're in the right part of the field as well, so there's a lot of sustained pressure down there. And, you know, they've come off with the rewards, so now it's up to Auckland to come back to respond. So let's hope that they get down there, get a good fast D-line up as we get ready for the kickoff.
So a brief reprieve in the rain as we prepare to get back underway off the boot of Tepulolo. So back into it go the Tongans. A spring in their step now, having got over for some points. Tongia lines up and says, I'll have another go. Takes it straight back into the heart of the Vulcans. And already they're 35 off their own line here. Tongia exchanging a few words with the marker as well. They work it forward through the other prop now. This is Xabian Payne who drives those legs up over the 40. Sekaheli, the dummy half. They'll miss out Tongia this time, and again they're going to go right edge. Otukolu holds up through a little half gap now. He's got his winger on his right-hand side. Instead, kicks back to the middle, and it is cleaned up by Zion Tanielu. He did have the winger open on his right there. We need to see Probably that one again to see if that was a blow and try, but nonetheless the Vulcans are onto the ball and now will look to work this out, and that is a much needed break there for the Vulcans, who have been under so much pressure in the last few minutes. This is now Tuilangi who will bump the ball forward. Whakosalia jumps out of dummy half and links up with his big man. This is Fio Asiata. Still going. Now ball loose. Boy, oh boy, they can't buy a completion. Another mistake for the Vulcans, and the pressure to come straight back on.
They look dangerous on this right side, don't they? He's managed to offload. He's got a kick. He's got a pass. He's got a bit of speed. Our big centre. Yeah,
Tanielu Otukolo is the man in question. He's done some real damage already out on this right-hand side, and the Vulcans can probably expect some more traffic down that edge once again. For the meantime, they're going to go to the left and work it forward via the fullback, Soakai Taufa. The Otahu man also plays school footy for Mags. It's good defence from the Vulcans that time. Now they'll jump out via Graham Taufa. There's no reprieve on the left-hand side either. This kid is all class. Vulcans doing well that time, and there's really no yardage on offering for the Tongans on that occasion. The line speed's good from the Vulcans, as is the first up contact. 5 short of halfway now. Sakahili jumps out and finds Payne, the try scorer from a few moments ago, who gets an offload away. That's nice stuff there from the Tongan side, who are now about 43 out from the line, and they'll get a much needed penalty. Well, just overworking it there. And now the Tongans will kick for touch and be straight back into good ball area. Graham Tolfa puts that one into the car park here at Bert Henham Park. You can see there the club faithful out on the balcony, as they are every Saturday. Sunday as well for the women's matches. So as we wait for the Steeden to return, Graham Tolfa to get us back underway. He taps and goes, runs straight back in, but he is met in solid contact that time from Lola Seal, leading the line. Sikahili now jumps out of dummy half. Good yardage on offering there for Vaka. Graham Tolfa at dummy half. He jumps out, says, I'll have a little run myself. Whakosalia gets there in time to slow his progress down. They're primed here, the Tongans. They can smell blood as they work it forward now. This is via Kepu. Still going. On his back. I think held up will be the call. It's just that. Joseph Green says we'll go back and start that one again. So an endless line of big bodies being thrown at the Vulcans right now. And to be fair, their response defensively has been pretty good so far. Tolfa. Again, they're going right edge. It breaks down. The pass was at the feet by the time it arrived to Mapapalangi, but they know where they want to go. They're targeting that side of the field once again. John Keating stationed out there, and that time getting some praise from his teammates. So the Vulcans live to survive another day in Troy. I know they've had no possession, but they have to be taking a fair bit of confidence out of the way they're repelling, I should say, this Tongan team so far. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. And you know, certainly do one of two things for them: give them a wee bit of confidence, but being deep and downside their 10, their 20, they just need to get the other end of the footy field and have some time on the ball, because it turns out to be a big long day in the office, doesn't it? So Tuilangi now working this one forward. Vulcan 17's player last year. Good first up contact though from the Tongan team. Dan Keeper's got to be super impressed by what he sees so far from this team. Here's Braden Winks, the Te Aratu man. Takes them up over the 40 now, the Vulcans. Haven't been down this end of the field in quite some time. Probably the first set of the game, actually, since they had any meaningful possession down in the attacking half. Whakosalia wants a quick play of the ball. He's literally pulling bodies out of the tackle. Swings out the back now. They're going to go high. A tester for Tolfa in greasy conditions. Here come the blue chase. Taken brilliantly, though, and Tolfa gets rid of the first one and the second. Eventually taken down by the third, and it's Julius Fafaeli, the man to finish him off there. Need a good defensive set now, do the Vulcans. That line speed so important to start to extinguish this Tongan flame, which is burning. And that time, Braden Winks does a good job of doing just that, getting up in the face of them. And the yardage a little harder to get this time for the Tongan outfit. Almost 22 minutes gone here. It is the Tonga 18s who lead 4 points to 0 over the Vulcans. Tonga takes them forward up over the 40. Left side they come now, involving these back rowers straight through the middle of the park. Into open space goes White. Brilliant covering tackle from Tanielu. Need a quick play of the ball here. They've got numbers. Were those markers square? Referee Green says no, they were not. And probably lucky that perhaps that's not a sin bin there. Almost a cynical foul given where they were on the field. Green says penalty suffice. I don't think the Tongans agree. So back into it we go. Bumping this ball forward by a Payne. Just about has both legs off the ground by the end of it. Sekahili to Payne. Hanging on his shoulder now is Kepu. Hunting their second points of the game. Sekahili jumps out. There's no marker. He's over. Vaka Sekahili catches the napping at dummy half. Goes over for a try right under the posts. And the Tongans double their lead.
ARL action replay here, and we can just see a really strong carry there. Number 1, 2, 3 defenders sucked in on that one. Looking for a quick play of the ball here, and I think that's probably one of the key parts for Auckland. They've got to slow the ruck speed down. And at this point, he held that up with a dummy. Big side step, step that defender on the inside up next to the SAS upright. Nice try. I think they're, as we wait for the kick to come here, Corey, the Vulcans need to just probably slow that ruck speed down. I think they're trying to turn, to win the wrestle. And Tongans at the moment, too big, too strong.
Yeah, it's a fair point, Troy. Those big bodies causing some real damage now. And then off the back of it that time, as you quite rightly pointed out, Sekahili just jumped out and did the damage, did the Manurewa Marlin. So the conversion now to come from right in front from Mapapalangi, a much easier attempt than his earlier one. 24 minutes gone. It is the Tongan side in control right now. And away is the call from in front. So it remains Tonga 8, Auckland Vulcans 0. 24 minutes gone. You're joining us for the Auckland Rugby League representative round. The Man Cup on offering in this one.
And approximately 11 and a half minutes to go in this half.
So getting ready for the Vulcans to get us back underway. And at 8-0, this is a very manageable scoreline for the home team. Just need some possession and to build their way back into this match. But if they can get to half-time with the deficit only around here, it is far from the end of the world. Now, has that found touch? I think it has. Yes, it has. So the Vulcans will regain possession here via the dropout. And that's a big play at this stage of the match. With 10 minutes to play in the half, the Vulcans find touch from the kickoff and now get a set here. 6 tackles inside the opposition half, and it's going to start with Kyung. Whakosalia is the dummy half. He's looking to his right and will go just that way. Brandon Winks. Manasi at dummy half. Hands off to his lock forward, Lolasio. Winks to his left. Instead, he's going to go to the right. And now they'll take on the line via Stephen Steele. So close to the line. He's got red all over him. And the Tongans hold him up about 3 meters short of the line. Manasi at dummy half finds his back row running that hard line close. It's Fafaili who will go close. This will be called a strip. 6 more coming up for the Vulcans. A great opportunity to not just get on the board, but potentially reduce this margin to 8 points to 6 as we approach the final 8 minutes or so of the first half here at Bert Henham Park. This is Kobe Kopua. Whakaosalia again looks to his right. Stevens Teal, it breaks down. The Tongans are on it. Look out! Look out! Down the left-hand side now go Tonga. Cover coming across from the Vulcans. Brilliant stuff from the Vulcans. They get there in numbers. I thought he was away for a minute there, Muffy. So just like that, the Tongans back on the attack. Graham Tolfa now will dance his way to centre field. Eventually taken down by his opposite number, that's Tepulolo. Just short of halfway now, Tonga. Just like that, they turn things over. It looked promising for a minute for the Vulcans. They jump out a dummy half now. Again, great meters on, offering that time for Vaka Sikaili.
Looks like on a big shift here to the right.
Payne looking for a friend, doesn't find one that time, but shakes out of one tackle, gets the off-foot away. Beautiful stuff. Tolfa looming in support. Desperately around the legs was Whakaosalia, and he may have saved the try. No penalty forthcoming. They're going to come out to the left edge now, the Tongans. Good offload out the back. It breaks down, but it'll be play on as the call. Can they hold on here, Auckland? Right up against the line. All started with that long-range break from Muffy. Now the kick goes in behind and it's fielded by Whakaosalia, and the Vulcans will survive. Well, Troy, what about that? An exciting little period of rugby league. The Tongans did really well to counterattack down that end of the park. Both teams just get the feeling really up for this one.
Desperate tackle, and just as I say that, we've got another spill from the Vulcans.
And now it's going to go back to the other way. It's loose for the time being. Needs to be careful. He stays in the field of play here. Does well to get up and remain in that time. Does Mapapalangi. And we're going to go back for an build up in. So knock on the call. So we're going to go back. Advantage not played is the call from referee Green. Left side they come. Graham Tolfa standing up at the line. Tanyulu doing well up top. Stevens Teo, I think it is, involved down low. To the middle they work it now.
Ooh.
Kepu shakes out a one. Still driving those legs. The Vulcans do really well to stop him in the end. He had momentum that time. Out to the left they come. White will straighten. He burrows low. Is the ball up? Held up is the call from Green. Great positioning from our referee right on the spot to call it. And they just saved the try that time. Now Fahu White held up over the line. Inside the final 6 minutes of this half. Now, Tolfa. Right side they come again. Otukolu. Footwork. Look out. Look out. He's over. Taniela Otukolu. He'd been threatening all game, and now gets his breakthrough down the right-hand side with a little bit of footwork, and it's enough just to lose his marker, and the Tongans are over for their third.
On the ARL action replay, as Corey called it, beautiful footwork here. Stepped this man. And here it is here, the vertical side step. 1, 2, just enough space to get on the outside there, through a dummy, sucked in the winger, little fend, and through try time.
Taniela Otukolo, it is, man from De La Salle and the Otahu Leopards. He scores on home turf here. And with this kick, the chance to go out to a 3-score lead for the Tongans in the shadows of half-time. Again, that rain really a factor in this one. It's starting to come down hard again as Tolfa lines up for the kick. A change from Mapapalangi earlier. That kick from in front that he missed, obviously, all Dan Keeper needed to see, and he's got the punt. So Tolfa steps in, strikes it well off the boot. It's going to hang. It's going to go over. So the Tonga ends it under 18s. 14, Auckland Vulcans 0. 31 minutes gone here at Bert Henham Park. And Troy, just as it felt like the Vulcans might be starting to find their way back into that contest, a handover down this end of the park, and then an error up here, and the Tongans straight on them.
Yeah, and straight from that handover too, the error took in place. You know, that the return runner went the best part of about 60, 70 metres down, put them in the right position for Tonga to strike again. So big day in the office for the Vulcan boys as we get ready now for the kickoff from that try. And just as that happens, a little bit more rain arrives in Otahu.
So driven kick down low, fielded smartly on the knees first of all, and then straight back into the heart, and he gets put on his back. There was a slip involved there as well. Tepu Lolo involved in the tackle. Here's the try scorer, Otukolo, still fighting. Look at this. Great energy from the centre. Dancing his way through now. Breaks through one, breaks through two, eventually put down on ground, and it's Tuilangi involved in the tackle that time. Now they'll come back through the middle of the park, and this is the 15 Kepu. The Manyarewa Marlin and Aorere College boy. The other Kepu works this ball forward, and they're about 35 out from the line now. Sekaeli wants to quick play the ball. Will go the way of Graham Tolfa. Hands to the left edge now, and Tolfa will spill, and now the Vulcans with a chance to counter. Straight on it is Kuruesa. As the blue jerseys now look to work this ball out. There's a good carry from Fafaeli, who's had a couple of good ones so far in this match. The contact that time from Tonga. Straight on to Viliami Finau, and they put him to ground. Tuilangi now goes infield looking for some yardage. This is a good set so far from the Vulcans, and they need a good kick to finish it. Whako Salia now looks to his left. Fresh legs on the park in the shape of Jacob Hollabon, who takes him up into opposition territory. Tepu Lolo now will kick. It's a high one and a tester for Tolfa. The chase isn't great from the Vulcans. Arrives by the time he catches it, but he takes it cleanly, gets rid of 1, 2, and then taken to ground by Tuilangi. Better that time, though, from the Auckland Vulcans, showing that perhaps with a little bit of possession, they are more than capable of wrestling their way back into this contest. But right now they're coming up against a very enthusiastic opposition.
Hasn't this guy been strong all day?
Otukolo, another good carry. There's a man of the match award awarded at the end of this one. And I don't know about you, Troy, but he's got my vote so far. Up over halfway now, go the Tongan side. Sekaheli to Payne. Payne goes to the line, looks to suck one in, goes through now. Payne looking for options. He finds Grant Tolfa looming on his shoulder. Another offload out the back. The cameraman's lost the ball. Eventually picked up by the Tongans, but I think we've got an error in back play, and this should be Vulcan's ball. But Troy, this Tongan side not put off by the wet weather, keen to play lots of second phase footy today.
Yeah, and they're able to keep on their feet as well. You know, they're keeping it alive. They've got good completion rates so far with the ball that they have had, and it's been in the right part of the park. And a bit of a groundhog day. Guess where they are now? Deep inside the 20, ready to roll again. So
not long to go.
Got to grind out the Vulcans
in this half. By our count, about half a minute, I should say, remaining in this first half. And the Vulcans, well, not the worst result if they head into the sheds at 14-0 down. The important thing on this set is they just control possession and get to half-time. Inside the 10, the call on the Tongans. So maybe a chance to launch a late raid here for the Vulcans. They don't appear in any hurry.
Not a bad kick either, mate.
So we wait for the Steeden to be returned. Zion Tanielu, who will get us back underway. And just ignore our clock on screen, ladies and gentlemen. There were a few stoppages in play. And I may have been the guilty party, not managing to stop the clock on the scoreboard. So it will be just a little bit out. Whako Salia now. They work it forward and big contact. Although Otukoi picks it up. Siren in the background. Tonga looking for points right on half-time. The ball comes loose, and now the Vulcans look up, and there's plenty of red jerseys there. We'll get to half-time, and it is the Tonga NZ18s 14 points to nil over the Auckland Vulcans 18s. We'll take a very short break before we return with the second half action here at Bert Henham Park.
Up where? No, we only had two. By the time they left here, one was already gone. And I don't have another one for the main game.
Good evening, Troy. You think that's a good one?